Welcome back to the Anfield Exchange, and today I want to talk about something that it hasn't really been spoken about in the media, and it's how Liverpool look defensively. So I'm a little bit worried, to be honest. I was before Quansah left. I thought, again, even before Quansah left, I thought Liverpool were a little bit short in defence. The four centre backs we have or had in Quansah, Gomez, Canate, and Van Dijk. We know Gomez is probably going to miss 60-70% of a season, maybe even more. It happens every year. Leaves us with three centre-backs if you include Quansah. Now, I know Liverpool were being linked with Marc Guehi, which would be a good signing. Question marks will be asked, does he want to come to Liverpool and be a third-choice centre-back? I wouldn't believe that he would, but I think that could potentially have ramifications on what happens with Canate this year. So yeah, I think for me, we're still looking a little bit short at centre back. I think the right back position is fine. We've got Bradley, we've got Frimpong. There's no issues there. Left back position, I'm still hoping that Andy Robertson doesn't go to Atletico Madrid, because I think Andy Robertson, for me, is. I wouldn't even, when you put Kirkes and Robertson in the same team, I wouldn't even say that Robertson is a backup left back. I know he had a tough time of things last season, but I think it was purely based on the fact that he was playing too many games. I think what is clear for me is that Kostas Tsimikas just isn't good enough for Liverpool. But it looks likely now that Andy Robertson might be leaving, and Kostas would be the backup left back again. I feel like Liverpool's squad would be stronger if Robertson stayed, but also I can understand why Andy Robertson might want to leave, because he wants to play first team football, and I think it's quite clear in the plans of Liverpool and Arne Slot that Milos Kirkes has been brought in for the long term of Liverpool, and I think he probably would go straight into the Liverpool first team. But I would still be expecting, if you keep Andy Robertson, I would still be expecting that he goes from playing, say, 55 to 60 games a season down to playing maybe 25 games a season. So I think he would still be a massive part of Liverpool. I think with Tsimikas at left back, you're probably going to see Tsimikas play a lot less than what Robertson would have. So yeah, left back position. Okay, we've got depth. I think we've got a massive improvement from Kirkes to Robertson. But if you let Robertson go, I'm not so sure how strong that position is. But yeah, the centre back positions is the one that really worries me. Obviously, Van Dijk's fine. We know Van Dijk's going to be capable of playing every game next season, barring injury. And again, you never know what's going to happen in football. If Van Dijk was to get an injury like the one he got at Everton a few seasons ago, then we certainly aren't strong enough in defence. We'll wish the best that Van Dijk isn't going to get an injury, and he can play the majority of the season. But Ibrahim Konate, let me know what you think about Konate in the comments, because I'm worried we're going to see with Konate what we've just seen with Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he's going to probably leave for a free at the end of the new season. If that is the case, my preference would be to sell Konate this summer. But again, it's not as straightforward as that, because if Real Madrid and Konate have had communications already, and Real Madrid have basically said to him, look, run your contract down, we want to sign you on a free, there's a signing on fee and whatnot, like we did with Trent Alexander-Arnold. The ball is in Konate's court. We can say we'd sell him, but Konate's just going to reject every offer that comes through for him, and then join Real Madrid on a free at the end of the season. You can go down the route of not playing him, and possibly sort of not really giving him any game time. But again, you don't want to play like that sat on the bench. And if there's one thing we saw from Arne Slot at the end of last season, he wasn't afraid to play Trent Alexander-Arnold, even though he knew that he was leaving for Real Madrid. He brought him on. Obviously, the fans didn't like that. But if Konate is his second best defender after Van Dijk, then Konate is going to start whether he's leaving for Real Madrid or not. Like I said, Quansah, I think it's a good deal for Leverkusen. It's almost a bit like a loan deal because we've got the buyback option, which I believe is about £50 million, which obviously we sold him for 35. That buyback option doesn't come into play until 2027. So it's almost like a 2-year loan to get Quansah back first team football. And if he develops like I think he's going to develop and potentially the club thinks he's going to develop, then £50 million, okay, we've spent 15 million really to give him 2 years of football at a very high level and see where his development is, because he just wasn't going to get that at Liverpool. Then we've got obviously Joe Gomez. We know Joe Gomez isn't going to stay fit, which is the main worry for me, is that we are massively short at centre back and nobody's really speaking about it. Like I say, there's links to Marc Guehi, but I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough going into the new season. I would like Guehi to come in. I think he's a very good player. It'll be interesting to see how he plays in the back four as opposed to the back five that Crystal Palace play. But I think he is a very good player. He's right-footed, so he could link up well with Van Dijk if Konate does leave. But looking sort of further on from that, I mean, we're massively short. I don't know whether Liverpool have plans to potentially use Endo in that centre-back position. Or maybe they want to bring someone through from the youth academy, Nalo, who obviously got sent off about 30 seconds after coming on for his debut against, I think it was PSV, was it? Maybe they've got someone in the youth academy that they've been potentially looking at to come and help give a little bit of cover next season. But yeah, I mean, I would. We know that Liverpool were in for Dean Huijsen. Obviously, that didn't materialise. He ended up going to Real Madrid. He would have been a very, very good player. But yeah, I definitely think that Liverpool do need to bring in another centre back. And as much as I hate to say it, I think there's an obvious long term replacement for Virgil van Dijk when he finishes, when he moves on from Liverpool or when he retires, and that's not far away from Liverpool. It's Jarrell Quansah at Everton. I would be testing the waters there if I'm honest. He's a good young centre back. He's left footed. He's been brilliant for Everton. I think he was injured weren't he at the start of last season, but then he came back and he looked like he'd never been away. I like the look of Jarrell Quansah, but yeah, I am a little bit worried about centre back. I do think even if we bring Marc Guehi in, I think we need to bring someone else in as well. I just can't vision what Liverpool's plan is in defence. But then again, also if you're bringing in two centre backs, you've got to take into account that you've got quite an unsettled back four in comparison to what you're used to. You've got a new left back, you've got a new right back, and yes, it would be nice that we came into the league. I know obviously Kirkes has been in the league and he's shown what he's capable of. I think that would be an obvious transition in at left back position. But Jeremy Frimpong, he might take a little bit of time to get up to speed with things in the Premier League. Having played in Scotland and played in Germany, he's going to be coming into a league that's at a much faster pace, and any sort of mistakes you'll be punished on. So yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. I am a little bit worried at centre back position. I think in terms of the rest of the squad, I like the depth that we've got for the rest of the squad. Interesting what will happen with the striker position. I do trust that Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards will get that situation resolved. I think it's glaringly obvious that we need to bring in a number 9. And I think we will do. Whether that'll be Alexander Isak, who knows? I'm not sure it will be. I would love it to be. I just don't see a world where Newcastle will want to let Isak go, especially being back in the Champions League. But yeah, let me know what you think about the sort of defensive situation. Obviously, what I will mention as well, Alisson, Alisson will be our first team goalkeeper next season, but obviously Mamardashvili, he's joining Liverpool and he doesn't want to sit on the bench. How long will it be before Mamardashvili starts getting transitioned into the team and starts playing as the first team goalkeeper as well? I think we've probably got another 1 or 2 years left in Alisson before he moves on. But you want to have your defence sorted in time to bring in a new goalkeeper as well, which, on the scheme of things, the point where Mamardashvili comes in to be a first team goalkeeper, Van Dijk could be on his way out. So like sorry, that's my alarm. So like I say, it's one of those that you don't want to be bringing in a new goalkeeper when Virgil van Dijk's, say, retiring or he's out the door, and who knows, he might get offered a new contract and stick around for another couple of years after this one expires. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a worry of mine. I don't want to sound negative because I am massively positive about the business we are doing, and I do sort of trust Richard Hughes, Edwards, FSG to get done what we need to get done. But I would like to see a few more sort of links into the centre-back in the transfer market regarding centre-backs. Guehi would be a start, but it would be nice to bring in another centre-back, maybe a slightly younger centre-back with high potential to come in, and who would be fourth choice, who would be happy to be fourth choice, but has the potential then to go on and become first choice over the next couple of years. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think of our centre-back situation. What would you do with Canate? It's a tricky one. I don't want him to leave on a free. Me personally, I would put an offer on the table, a reasonable offer. I think I'd probably look at giving him towards sort of 180 grand a week. I think he's currently on 70, so it would be quite a substantial increase in his salary. That's where I think between 180 and 200, I think that's where he should probably be sitting. I do think he's an important part of the Liverpool squad, but again, it all depends where his head's at, what conversations he's been having with Real Madrid, and whether he's planning on sort of leaving upon the expiry of his contract. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next one.